Hello, welcome again to my channel. My name is Cynthia. In today's tutorial I will be showing us how to make this beautiful bridal shower gown. Okay, so I'm working with 10 yards of nets. I'm using white color. You can decide to use any color of your choice, but I'm making use of white. All right, so this is, I'll be cutting this particular one like a kimono dress, and then I'll be using this this net, the net you're seeing here. I'll be using it for the tulle. I'll be adding the tulle on the sleeve parts, and then this satin, I'll be using this satin for my inner the inner parts. All right, okay, if you look at the picture, it has the inner one, so I'll be using it for the inner parts. All right, so if today is the first time of coming to this channel, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Okay, if you've not subscribed. All right, so I'm going to start up the class immediately. Now I'm going to start with my neckline. The back, I'll be using 2 inches. All right, for the deep, and for the width I'll be using 3.5. okay, as you can see, this is for the back. We have 2.5 for 2.5, sorry, 2 inches for the width. This is for the back, and the deep I have 3.5. And then for the front part, I'll be using, because it will look like it's a kimono, so I'll be using 8 inches for the back part, the front part. I'm going to connect with a straight V line. So I've just connected. So I'll put my curve. And then this particular bridal shower gown, I'm making it for, let's say, universal size. I'll be putting it for renting. Okay, so I'm not making it for anyone, I'm making it for renting, so any size can wear it. Let's say size of from 46 down can wear it. Okay, so now the shoulder I'm working with, I'll be using 9 inches for my shoulder, and then I'll be adding 1/2 inch allowance. And then for the armhole, okay, I will be putting armhole, I'll be cutting it as if I'm cutting a danchiki. All right, so the sleeve I'm working with is, let's see how much we have here. So I have enough, I have like 22 inches, so I'll be using the whole of the 22. So I have my sleeve measurement. Remember, like I said, we're cutting it as if you're cutting a danchiki. All right, so now I'll need my sleeve opening. I'll be taking my sleeve opening at 11 inches. Okay, now I am not going to make it look straight. I'm going to make it look like a flake. As 11 inches here, we took 11 inches here, so if you mark it straight, you're going to have your 11 inches at somewhere around here, but I'm going to add some allowance to this. Now, instead of marking straight, I'll place my my ruler this way. Okay, now you can decide to place anyhow you want, but before I start placing, I am going to take my chest measurement first. The chest I'm working with is 44 divided by 4. Sorry, like I said, I want from bust of 46 will wear it, so let's use 46. 46 divided by 4, we have 11.5. okay, and then I will add just 2 inches. All right, and then 1 inch, I'll add extra 1 inch for ease. You know, usually free. So from here, what I'm going to do now is this. Instead of going straight with my sleeve measurements, I want it to look flared, so I'll place it here. So I'll mark. Or you can decide to carry it down, depending on how open you want it to be. But I think I'm okay with that place. So now, from my shoulder to my hip, from shoulder to hip, I will use 25 inches. I'm using the whole of the material, alright? So now I'm going to put my hip measurement here. The hip I'm working with is going to be free, but at the hip I'm working with here, I'll be using 50, alright? 50 divided by 4, we have 12.5. I'll add 2 inches, an extra 1 inch for my allowance. So with this now, I'll connect it to the chest. Okay, now this I'm going to make here a curve. Try to curve out this place. So I've curved it out. Okay, so now I will take my ruler and then I'll connect it this way, just to make it look very free. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to connect it to make it look very, very free. So let's connect together. So let's start cutting. Let me cut out the neck, then we'll continue from there. So I'll start with cutting the back neckline. The back part one, and then I'll cut out the neck for the front part, and then I'll slit the front open. So I'm going to open it up now to the end. We'll open it up. Prepare the ruffle. Okay, so I want it to be a very bold ruffle. We're putting the ruffle on just the sleeve parts, and then for the neck part, so the hem from up, that's from the neck to the hem area, I'll be using this satin to design the mount. Okay, but I'm thinking of using a lace mount to design the but I don't have any lace mount for now, so I will be using the satin for it. Okay, so now, so cut out our ruffle. You just gather this way. I went ahead to cut out my two. This is 10 inches, all right? So the reason why I had to do it this way was because I will be gathering the center part. I want it to look very full. That's why I'm using 10 inches. You can decide to use 5, 4, depending on how much of the net you have. All right, I want it to look very full and simple. Okay, so that's why I'm using 10 inches. So I'll just go ahead and cut it to 10 inches. I'll be adding this to the sleeve part of this clothes of the bridal shower gown. I'll be adding it to the sleeve part. I'll add it to the sleeve part. So just keep cutting until you get to the end. Okay. So once I'm done with this is all of it, okay, for the sleeves. So it's time to cut the inner parts of this dress, but at least short inside. All right, so from the shoulder to where I'm going to use, I'll be using 38 inches, and then I'll add extra 2 inches for my folding allowance. So from my shoulder to my bust is 10 inches. To the waist, to the half length, I'll be using 15 inches. So the hip, I'll be using 25 inches. So I'll just mark. Now the shoulder I'm working with, I'll be using 9 inches for the shoulder. It's a sleeveless, all right. The armhole, I'm using 9 inches for my armhole. Alright, so for the neckline, for the front part, this is the front part, I'll be using 7 inches. I want it to be a V line, a V cut neckline, alright. And then here I'll be using 4.5. Alright, so for the back neckline, I'll be using 3 inches. Okay, I'll use 4 inches. Alright, 4 inches. I won't cut this, alright. I'm just trying to show you what I'm going to use. I'm not cutting it. So for the bust is 46 divided by 4. I have 11.5, and I'll be adding 2.5 inches. Okay, 2 inches for my allowance. Alright, I'll be closing with 1 inch. I'll be using the other 1 inch for my ease. And then the waist I'm working with is 44 divided by 4, 11 plus 2 inches. And the hip I'm working with is 50 divided by 4. I have 12.5 plus 2 inches. So I'll just connect. So whatever I have, I'll just carry it down. Alright, or you can just add some allowance to it, because I don't want it to look tight. Remember, it's supposed to be a very free gown. So I'll just carry whatever I have down here. You can try to add some allowance. Okay, let's add extra 2 inches to it. Try to look very more freer than this. And then I'll cut. And then once I cut with this, I'll trace out the back side. Remember, we're not cutting the neckline, because if I cut the neckline, it will affect if I should cut the neckline, it will affect my front. So I'm not cutting. So put your shoulder slope 1 inch. I'm not using lining for this, okay? I'm not using any lining. I won't be using any lining. I'll just cut out my facing and off I go. I sew it, okay? not going to have anything like zipper allowance. It's a free gown, no zipper allowance. So the neckline for the back, let's put it. So I'll cut out the neckline for the front now. So I'll just go ahead to cut out my facing, and then I'll cut out my facing for the neck, and then for this area I also cut out the facing. Okay, the facing I'm going to cut is going to cover up from here to this place so that I can turn up my my neck part. All right, so both for the back and the front. And then I will sew my facing together. You can decide to add gum stay, so that a little gum stay on the neck part so that it will relax well. And then I'll fold it down. I'll hem the down part and I'll close it. I'm not showing any of the sewing tutorial. It's a very simple thing. You can do this by yourself. Now the armhole is going to be open, remember. Okay, so now we are through with this. We'll cut out the facing and then we'll sew. All right, so let me show you what to do for the so for the as you can see, for the hem area, that's for the sleeve area here, for the sleeve part, as you can see, what I'm going to do is those ruffle I cut out, I'm going to those nets I cut out, I'm going to ruffle it and I'm going to put it on the hand. All right, I'll put it on the hand, and then for this part, okay, I'm going to cut out my satin. All right, I'll cut out on fold 2 inches on fold, and I'll use it to pipe it towards round. That's what I'm going to do here, and then I'll show us the finished look. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do it, and then I'll close upwards this side. Once I'm done with the net, I'll close up the side. I'll put my the satin around here just to cover up, to pipe this place, and then I'll come and show us the finished look. All right, so we go and sew and come back. I will not be showing you the sewing aspect of this. It's very easy to sew. All right, so let's go and do this. We've come to the end of the tutorial. This is the finished look. Okay, as you can see, this is the inner part. Okay, and this is the satin I use in covering this area like a bias. All right, so as you can see, and then this is the ruffles on the sleeve part. Just on the sleeve part I added it. Okay, sorry I didn't show the sewing parts, I only explained. All right, so if this tutorial was very helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you again in my next class. My name is Cynthia. And then you can also decide to add the ruffle on the down if you want. Okay, like I said, I don't want it that way. I just want it this way, simple and short. I'll see you again in my next class. I'm Cynthia. Bye.